Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some big stars. And we've got one for you today. A lady who I was delighted to see just last week in Blackpool, starring with Steve Hewlett at the Pleasure Beach. Kitty Harris, how are you?
Hi, I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You've got everything, really. Beauty, you've got a nice personality, you've got talent. I mean, it's the triple threat, really, isn't it?
Oh, thank you very much.
Is it fun being you? I mean, there you were last week opening for Steve Hewlett at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I mean, you were born to be there. You're from that neck of the woods. You come from a legacy of great showbiz inheritance, and now you're on stage performing yourself. It's amazing.
Yes, it is. It's really great, and I'm really privileged to be able to perform with some famous people like Steve, and obviously it's been great. So yeah.
Let's talk about your dad for a moment. I mean, I'm 38. For my generation, your dad, Keith Harris, was one of the most loved stars ever, of course, with Orville, and we lost him 3 years ago. What a great thing to have Keith Harris as your dad. It must have been wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It is wonderful, and I've learned so much from my dad, and obviously to help me with the industry myself. Just great times, great memories, and I'm just really proud to have him as my dad.
And he was a class act that was loved by everybody. They're doing this wonderful charity event in September at Viva, which is the big club that does so well. On Friday, the 21st of September, 7:45, this charity show. They're trying to get a memorial statue for your dad. Everybody's going to be there. Bobby Davro, the Crankies, Tom Binns, one of my favourite people, Johnny Casson, a fabulous comedian, Bobby Crush, Duncan Novell. They're all coming, along with other people who are going to send these fabulous video messages like Julian Clary. This must be great for you to know that your dad was not only successful, but loved and popular.
Yes, definitely, and it's really nice as well, obviously, to know that, and to know that we've got so much support as a family, and by everyone and everybody in the industry. It's just great. I mean, it's funny because obviously he's my dad, so it's quite normal for me to be around puppets and all of the showbiz, all the shows, and going everywhere, and I'm quite used to it. But it was a big hole when we obviously lost my dad because, it's just hard, isn't it? It's the worst thing.
And he adored you, I know that. And you'd been around together. I mean, you were on tour with him for such a long time. And meeting your mum as well last week.
Yes.
Again, I suppose you've got to find a new normal, but having that legacy live on is so important. The fact they want this statue must mean so much to the family.
It does, definitely, and I really want the statue the most because I feel like my dad did so much for everyone and for especially the town of Blackpool, and I just feel like they really need something, in aid of my dad and carry on that legend that he was.
And I'm going to ask the stupidest question today I'm ever going to ask, but was he a good dad?
Oh, he was the best dad in the whole world, honestly. I couldn't ask for anybody. He's a best friend. He was always there for advice. He always knew what to say and what to do. And it's just anybody I'd love him to be everyone's dad because he was so good.
And interestingly, I mean, anybody who met him felt the same way. He had an incredible warmth.
Definitely. Always. He always knew what to do and he always helped out so many people. And yeah.
What's that Orville up to these days? Where is he?
He's all right. He's chilling with us.
Is he still there? Have you got him in the home?
Yeah. We've got the main one in our house, but because we'll always keep that. My dad wanted us to keep that as a family thing, of course. But we had a couple of Orvilles, so don't tell anyone. But we've got one in a museum, which is coming up in Blackpool soon. They're all looked after.
Well, they have great warmth, and again, for my generation, I mean, it was such a fabulous thing. And then we look at you. Did your dad know that I would be speaking to you at some point, talking to you as the star, not as the daughter of Keith Harris? Because it's an interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and I feel like my dad's always watching me. He's always, sort of, even now, I feel like I've always still, getting guidance and things, and I feel like he'd be excited and wants me to obviously do as best as I can and in the right way.
And you're keeping it classy. I mean, I wonder whether you were always singing. I heard that voice last week and was blown away. You try enormous songs. You weren't just singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I mean, you were singing these great big ballads done by the legends, weren't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I actually think that that's the best way to learn. I feel like I listen to people like Whitney Houston, Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, and I feel like everybody who's made sort of a big impact, I feel like it's best to listen to them because you pick it up. And I've always been told to my dad to follow who you think do the best. Like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? If not, let's
talk about when you got your break, because I know you did this Gangster Granny thing, and ironically it was your nana that spotted the advert.
Yeah, it was, it's quite funny because we were kind of all just sat in a living room and she was like, "Oh, Kitty, I found this advert and I feel like you'd be really good." So I was like, "All right, whatever," like not thinking anything of it. And then obviously like it came out of nowhere and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Thanks, Nan." But yeah, so yeah, I'm really obviously grateful that she's always looking out for things for me, and so is my mum, really. So,
were you always singing? Were you always performing? Were you always a show off? Because stars are born stars, really, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's really funny videos of me when I was like younger on the computer, like I don't know, like singing karaoke songs, and I've always sort of wanted to sing. I love singing, and I think, well, it's my granddad was a singer, so that's my dad's dad, and he was a singer, and he could hit really high notes, so I don't know if it's come from there, or I've always been a performer, though, and no matter what.
You've got an amazing confidence. I wonder whether that's just being around the stage all your life. You've really known no different. Do you have any fear? Because you look so comfortable and so confident.
Yeah, I'm so nervous. Like, I usually get, when I'm at the side of stage, it's like that nervous, but I'm excited. So it's like you get a bit of a buzz. But I feel like you always sort of need that rush to, help you with motivation and energy on the stage. Sometimes my legs go a bit wobbly, but that's why I wear long dresses. But
good
I'm
move.
Right.
And again, you'll be performing at your dad's charity do on the 21st of September. Again, walking out in front of all the stars, watching you perform must be an incredible feeling. Are you nervous or excited?
I'm a bit of both. I mean, hopefully I get to sort of chat to them a bit before the show and sort of, feel a bit more easy with them. But I feel like they'll just be hopefully seeing some of my dad in me. So I hope it'll be nice for them.
How do you get to the next level? Where do you go from here? Would you consider an X Factor or BGT, something like that?
No, I always thought about it, and I have actually auditioned for Britain's Got Talent, but then I got told by a good friend of mine, who was my dad's agent, that it probably wasn't the best idea, because obviously they've got great singers on there, but usually, because it is variety, they get, one, sort of overrun by, a dog actor or something, which I've got nothing against, 'cause it's great. Yeah. But, I mean, I feel like probably the X Factor or even The Voice would be a good move. But I think just for publicity, because I've got a good friend who's just done quite well in the X Factor. But she said, it's just very hard in a tough industry.
Yeah, getting the big break is the big thing and being seen, isn't it? I suppose the other side of it is you've just turned 18. You're stunningly gorgeous. I mean, what about Love Island or Celebrity Big Brother? Would you consider that?
I mean, I think I'd like to go on Big Brother. I feel like it would be a laugh, but I know I'm not a fan of really Love Island. I feel like, it's great for some people, but I don't know.
I guess you've got to keep it classy.
Keep it classy.
There you go. There's the moral to the story. So we look at your future. I mean, you went into the West End for a bit in this Gangster Granny, the David Walliams thing. I guess that's an obvious move for you to be in musical theatre, is it?
Oh, yes, I do love musical theatre, and I am going to study musical theatre coming up in September in Preston. So I'm excited about that and, see where it sort of takes me, because I always want to learn. I always want to experience different things and experience different techniques from different teachers. So I feel like to even help me even more, it's great. It's a good thing to do.
You've got a phenomenal talent, and I think you're going to go from strength to strength. Tell us some of the people you've met that you were blown away by that you now realise were absolute legends.
Yeah,
And you've even met Joan Collins, have you?
Yeah, she's lovely, and she actually kissed me on my head, and she said to my dad that she never usually does that. And I was like, okay, privilege. But,
yeah, she's a proper star.
No, yeah, definitely. Like, anyone really. I feel like anybody in the industry who's sort of made it at the moment, really, I'm just inspired anyways, and especially Steve as well. I love being with Steve. He's great.
Steve Hewlett's got this show at the Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which you open for, and again, this is a guy who works up and down the country, and it's proper hard work, isn't it? I mean, you know, he understands the ethic of being a star like your dad, that you've got to go to them, and sometimes it can be hard. Have you thought about that? It's not an easy life on the road, is it?
No, not at all. And because my dad did the same. He was up and down all the time, and you know, it's tiring and it's hard work. But he said to me that, well, it pays off, because at the end of the day, he enjoys performing. He loves it. But at the end of it, it's okay, because we can go on nice holidays and, you know, enjoy time together and things. And well, he's famous and he's a celebrity, a massive legend. So I think it's such a great achievement for his life as well. So
what's your earliest memory with him? Was it at a show, seeing him perform?
Yeah, it was at a show. Well, apparently it was in a pantomime called Aladdin. It was my dad's pantomime, and apparently I cried like the whole way through. I didn't like it at all. So I went out, and it's actually quite funny, because every pantomime I've done in the past, I've actually managed to miss Aladdin, and I don't understand. I don't know. So something about Aladdin that is just not right for me. But
how do people react, especially those of your age? I mean, I'm an old man now at 38. Do 18-year-olds still know your dad and Orville?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's more the parents, obviously, who tell them. But then once they do know and, you know, understand his importance, they're really excited and, you know, happy to support me and be involved, really. So, yeah.
Will Orville be at the charity gig on the 21st of September?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I don't think you could do it without him, really.
There's a huge affection, isn't there? Again, I know I said it at the beginning, and it sounds funny, but it was such a beautiful puppet. I mean, and what your dad did, it's interesting that you're with Steve, because the ventriloquist act is the backbone of Variety, and that's really what Orville was, but it became human, didn't it? We loved Orville.
Yeah. The thing was about how good my dad is and how good he was at, you know, performing was, you don't realise that it's actually just my dad on the stage. I believe that there was Orville there and Cuddles, and he just managed to bring everything alive, and it's really great, you know. I
always wanted to be Cuddles. He was a bit naughty, wasn't he?
Oh, he's my favourite. Cuddles is my favourite, because he's just so, like, that is the other side of my dad as well, like, quite cheeky, and it's just great. And yeah, I remember his act like off by heart. I just absolutely love it. It's just great.
The final question I'm going to ask you is about when you go on stage. Do you always give a nod to your dad in your head and say, I'm doing it for you tonight, Dad? Is he always going
definitely.
through? Yeah.
Like before, you know, when there's like Steve's curtains, well, the curtains where I kind of came out of from the stage. Well, I was always like, every time Steve mentions my dad, I do like a little punch thing. I'm like, yes. I'm like, you go, Dad. I'm like, I'm here, I'm doing it for you. And even in every show that I do, I'm always like, come on, like, I can do this. And he's always so proud and so excited, but he'd actually always tell me, like, what I needed to do or improve on, which obviously I love that, because I'm, like, always wanting to learn and things, so.
Yeah. Was he a tough critic?
No, not really. he just like, he wouldn't want to upset anyone, so it just kind of like slip it in, but.
Yeah. And of course, one of the most beautiful things now is you can go on YouTube, and there they are, all those programs, all those videos, all those performances that your dad did. That must be so wonderful that his legacy lives on, and that you can, at any point of a click of a button, see your dad live. Most people don't have that, do they?
No, that's why I feel very lucky and very grateful that my dad is who he is, because of, you know, it is like you said, it's so easy to just go and have a look and, you know, even research things that I don't even know yet about what he has done, and even more shows and people who he's met and things. So, yeah, it's great.
I know there's a great warmth and affection, not only for your dad, but for you too. People want you to do well, and I know in Blackpool they can't wait for you to become a big star, and I think you will. Kitty Harris, thank you so much for your time. It's been so lovely talking to you.
Thank you very much. much.
I hope to see you again. And in aid of Keith Harris, the memorial statue for Blackpool is this big gig that's going to be happening at Viva, which is the big club right on the front there next to the Blackpool Tower, starring Bobby Davro, the Crankies. I don't know how they're going to get all these people in. There's about 700 stars in a 2-hour show. How are they going to work that one then?
They have about 2 minutes each.
Do they? Keep them to 90 seconds, I think.
Yeah.
And Kitty will be performing too. You can see her there. The daughter of Keith Harris, one of the greatest legends in show business and the true epitome of a variety star. Worked so hard and was much loved. Kitty, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.